Hi guys, SKETI here, welcome back to a new tutorial. This one is all about how to use reverb in a better way in your mix, so it makes your mix sounds cleaner but you're still getting that good use of reverb. So let's get to it. So one thing that I've noticed, especially when I've been doing live streams on Twitch and listened to people's music, I've been asked a lot about and heard a lot about how people use reverb and better way to use reverb because of some mixes have been a little bit too washed out or so on and so forth, or people are saying that they're struggling to get the reverb right in the mix. And what I've basically been saying and found that you should only be using reverb send instead of having a reverb on every single channel independently. Now this is all about your mixes and not about sound design, because obviously if you're making a sound, use as much reverb as you want, as obviously if it's going for that kind of sound that you want to achieve, then that's cool, but you're in sound design stage, so that doesn't really matter. But when you're in the mix, reverb needs to be used in a very careful way to make your mix sound good, and so it doesn't wash out your mix and it sounds muddy or not strong enough or powerful enough. So the way I do that is I basically have three different reverbs. I have a short reverb, a medium reverb and a long reverb. Now sometimes I might go up to 4 or 5 reverbs depending on the track, but the main time is having a short, a medium and a long. And basically all this is, the short reverb, I tend to keep between about 100 and 500 milliseconds. And this reverb is there just to thicken up transient sounds like snares or the top end of kick drums or vocals, lead lines, that kind of thing. You don't really hear it as a reverb, it just basically makes the signal sound thicker. And what I also do is I do a high pass filter at 213 Hz. So basically nothing below that region has got any reverb in it, because you don't really want any reverb in your bottom end at all, because if you do any mono summing on your mix, what's going to happen is you might find it goes out of phase and then you lose all of the power in the bottom end of your mix. Now the next reverb that I've got is a medium reverb. And that's usually between about 1 and 1.5 seconds long. So this one here is 1.3 seconds. And again, I've set a high pass filter at 319 Hz. So this medium one is a little bit less in the bottom end. As you can see, that high pass filter is set to 319 Hz this time. But this is more to obviously give that that spacious room sound. And this is good again on sort of like the back end of leads, sort of the tail end of a snare, some hi-hats, pads, that kind of thing, just to sort of fill out the reverb a little bit more in the mix, sorry. And then the last one is long reverb, and this is just obviously that reverb to make it sound nice and splashy. And this I find is anywhere between like 2.5 seconds and all the way up to 5-6 seconds long. So for this one I've set to 3.31 seconds. And also I've set the high pass filters to 718 Hz. So really there's absolutely nothing below there getting reverbed at all. And this is really just to add some sparkle and air to your music. So if you want your vocals just to have some air in the background, again some snares or your hi-hats. Again, be careful because it can sound a little bit too metallic, so sometimes I put a high cut like I have here, so there's nothing really super high-end reverbed. And I've also added a little bit of EQ as well, and then just sort of wrapped it off with a glue compressor. Now the cool thing with just having these three reverbs is it means, one, it's going to save on processing power. If you're running on a computer that's not that powerful, you're only using 3 reverbs for your entire mix. One, it's also going to clean up your mix because every single track that you send to these reverbs is using the same reverb, so it's going to sound like they're all part of the same room and the same space. And also it's just going to really reduce how much your mix is muddy and washed out, because again we're just using 3 reverbs here and it does the job. Because if I just go for the drop for this one, you'll hear the reverbs in the background. I'll also turn them off. You won't hear a massive change, it'll be quite subtle, but it just builds that space when it's needed. So this is with the reverbs on. And I'll turn the reverbs off as well. So when I turn that on, as you could hear that tail out, it's mainly on the top end of the snare, the hi-hats, the top end of the bass as well, just to fill out the mix a little bit more. But yeah, if I just highlight these 3 reverbs, instead of having to go through every single channel and turn the reverbs off, I can just basically with one click turn that reverb, all those reverbs off at the same time. So that's really useful to do as well. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Just a little quick tip there on how to make your reverbs sit better in the mix and to basically use reverbs a lot easier and more efficiently in your mixes as well. So yeah, if you like this, leave a like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell as well so you see these future videos more in the future. Leave a comment if you've got any questions or suggestions for future videos. I'm also now on Twitch and Discord as well, so we've got a little community building where people come and share music with me and we give each other feedback. It's a real wholesome place to get together and make friends. But anyway guys, I shall see you next time. Bye.
Everybody jump up, come on! Come on! Everybody jump